So Sandmarc sent me some of their filters designed to be used for the iPhone. So I have here their circular polarizer, and then I also have some of their ND filters. So these come in a set of 3. And all these filters can be used in a wide variety of photo and video applications. I mean, I use filters like these all the time in my own work with my bigger mirrorless cameras. So it's nice to see something a little bit smaller that's designed specifically for the iPhone. So in this video, I'm going to go through a bunch of examples using these filters, and we'll see how they perform. And yeah, let's go ahead. We'll dive right in. All right, so let's look at some examples using the polarizer filter. So what you can do is rotate the filter to make the polarizing effect stronger or weaker. Now it's important to keep in mind that the filter will also darken the image a bit, so you may have to adjust your camera settings accordingly. But here you can see what happens to the image as I turn the filter. It's cutting through some of the haze and making the image much more vibrant. And here's a couple of photos side by side so that you can see the difference. The shot with the polarizer just has a lot more pop to it, and overall just looks better. And here's another example where we can cut through the glare from the sun that's on these ferns, and notice how much better the color is with the polarizer activated. And here's a side-by-side look. So the filter can also enable you to cut through glare in water or windows, things like that. And sometimes you may want that glare in your shot, but other times not. And the filter gives you that creative flexibility to get the type of shot that you want. So here's a couple of examples of cutting through some glare in the water, allowing us to see the rocks in the river much better. And here's another photo comparison for you. So it's worth mentioning that I've not done any editing or enhancements to any of the photos or videos that I'm showing you today. Everything is just straight out of the iPhone camera. Now I am, however, using a third-party app called Pro Camera, and that allows me to manually adjust different settings like ISO or shutter speed of the iPhone. The native iPhone photo app currently does not allow that, so I prefer to use the Pro Camera app so I can kind of dial in the settings just how I want them. So there are a couple of ways to attach Sandmarc filters to your iPhone. So one way is to use a Sandmarc case, which they make for lots of different iPhone models. So I have their brown pro leather case for my iPhone 16 Pro. And the Sandmarc cases are compatible with a bunch of their gear, not just the filters. So for example, you can screw in their iPhone lenses to the case, such as their macro lens or their telephoto lens. I have reviews on my channel for both of those lenses, so check those out after this video if you're interested. Now, to attach the filters to the case, you do need a step-up ring, which Sandmarc has available on their website. So all you have to do is screw the filter into the step-up ring, and then just screw it into the case. And then you're ready to shoot. Now, the other option is to use the clip-on mount, which comes with their filters. And all you do for that is just screw the filter into the clip-on mount and then clip it to your phone. It's pretty easy. Now the polarizer filter comes with this nice case as well. And their ND filters also comes with a case to hold all 3 ND filters also. And I'll show you some example shots using their ND filters here in a second. But I do want to point out that Sandmarc is offering you 10% off your order if you decide to purchase anything. They make all kinds of cool stuff, so it's worth checking out their website. And if you want that 10% off your order, just use the discount code that I will leave in the description of this video. Alright, so next let's talk about the Sandmarc neutral density filters. So they come in a set of 3, each with a different level of strength. So ND filters are used to limit the amount of light that hits your lens, and this can be useful for a lot of different situations. I use ND filters pretty often for both photography and video. Usually with photography, I use them in order to get longer shutter speeds for things like seascapes or waterfalls, or just any time that I want to introduce some kind of motion blur into my photo. And then with video, I use them to balance exposure while keeping my shutter speed at a good setting, such as 1/60th of a second, like when I'm shooting like 30 frames a second, for example. Now on a bright sunny day, 1/60th of a second may result in too bright of an exposure, but by putting an ND filter in front of the lens, I'm able to get a good exposure while also keeping my settings where I want them. So let's go ahead and look at a few examples using the Sandmarc ND filters. And like I mentioned earlier, all the shots are unedited. So for this shot, you can see I was able to use an ND filter to achieve a longer shutter speed and blur out that water a bit. And then same thing for this next shot. I also went to a waterfall to take some test shots with the ND filters. And here's some side-by-side examples. And here's another example. The exposures are a bit off, obviously, but you get the idea. I like having both of these shots because the one on the left shows more of the power of the waterfall, whereas the one on the right with the filter makes the waterfall kind of look more like serene or peaceful, and it's nice to have the option for both. So overall, the Sandmarc filters are a great tool for iPhone photography and videography. They work very well and they open up a lot of creative options. And remember, if you decide to pick up any Sandmarc filters or any of Sandmarc's gear for that matter, remember that you can get 10% off your order by using the discount code in the description of this video. Alright, well that's it for now. I'll see you on the next video.